telling you now, it is absolutely Baltic outside Dean Court as the sun sets on the Vitality Stadium. It is a brand new era for AFC Bournemouth. My name's Sam Davis. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And this is our opinion stroke recap on what has happened at Dean Court. It's exciting news, it's new, it's the unknown, but it promises to deliver something different, something beyond what Max Demin could have offered us. And also, as we alluded to earlier on with our chat with Mark McAdam, a sprinkle of Hollywood too. More on that later on. So, the details. The new owners of the Cherries are the Black Knight Football Club, which Bill Foley is the managing general partner of, with a number of limited partners, including interest for Cannet Holdings Inc. and certain other investors, many of whom have invested in the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, of course, it wasn't exactly a secret that Max Demin wanted to sell the club. It was rumoured for quite a while. Obviously, relegation from the Premier League made it very difficult to sell. He could have got his out at that point in time, but he wouldn't have got as much money for the club, would have he? But he took us back to the Premier League. He supported the various managers along the way, including Scott Parker, and we know how many signings we made in that January transfer window, and ultimately it helped us get promoted. What an owner he has been. And when he took over the club, Max, in 2011, there was this sort of initial conjecture, there was rumours, there was doubt, there was pessimism over what kind of owner he was. We didn't appreciate the fact that he was not really wanting to be seen, seemed to be all smoke and mirrors. And there seemed to be a public face that he didn't want to be part of, but ultimately he put his money where his mouth is. This time round it's going to be slightly different because we've got an owner who wants to be seen. We know that. He's already emailed us. So has Max. We're going to talk about that later on. But he's going to present us, Bill Foley, with a vision of how he wants the club to look. And it's one that Max Demin certainly started off for AFC Bournemouth, not least on the pitch. He put the initial foundations in place for what is to come in terms of the training ground. And you know what, we've got a chance of real growth now and real sustainability, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But Max Demin, we've got to say thank you to him. Of course, 2011 and our progression up through the leagues, it was clear that he was proud of owning AFC Bournemouth. It was not something, he didn't have many interviews, didn't have barely any interviews, but you know what, we've all seen videos of him at that Bolton game, him absolutely elated, and privately I think it was his pride and joy. We can see that on what he said, how proud he is of his 11 years at the club, and obviously he'll be so disappointed with COVID and what that led to, obviously the relegation back to the Football League, but ultimately he put us back into the top flight again, and he underlined his commitment, which is absolutely massive, because we were all wondering what on earth was going to happen, but he put his money where his mouth is, as we know. So what do we know about Bill? Well, he's a businessman, philanthropist, and someone who's got an extensive background in sports, including, as we mentioned, tremendous success as the founder and the owner of the National Hockey League Las Vegas Golden Knights, the first major league sports team in Las Vegas. And look, if we want to go into detail, they debuted in the 17-18 season with the most successful campaign for an expansion franchise in any sport, reaching the Stanley Cup final. The first major league professional team in Las Vegas, it's enjoyed perennial on and off ice success and has spawned growth in Vegas as a professional sports hub and an exploding youth hockey market. That's part of the press release that was on AFCB.co.uk, which also goes on to say Bill is committed to increased investment at AFC Bournemouth's first team, as well as the academy and fan experience at the Vitality Stadium, on top of immediately beginning construction of a state-of-the-art training centre and increasing the financial commitment to the AFC Bournemouth women's and girls team.
Happy with our management group there. I believe we can do some best of class helping them in terms of their sponsorship and ticketing and hospitality, because we do a really good job here on the business side. So I believe we can help in that area. And we have to build out some infrastructure and make the place make it better for football from the stadium and also to the practice facility. But it's fun. It's it's a crazy sport. The fans are. We have enthusiastic fans, but these soccer fans are different level.
He's keen to put his money where his mouth is. He's also keen to turn up as well, because he's going to be at the Crystal Palace game come the end of the year, and also he's going to be buying a house in this area as well, which is absolutely massive. Now, what this means for Jeff Mostyn, we don't really quite know. Could well be that he shifted into an ambassadorial role. Of course, Bill Foley is going to be chairman of the club, but Jeff, whether he's going to be here or not remains to be seen, but surely an ambassador, because he's such a great spokesperson for the club. We'll have to see what happens with him. We certainly hope he's not one of these people that, whilst he knows how to work a room and he can be the voice of the club, sometimes he can be understated at times. I just hope it's not an opportunity that he uses to quietly slip away, because we cannot forget what he's done for the football club. Not least, we all know the -17 story and that famous nod in the press conference that basically secured AFC Bournemouth's short term, at that point, survival. Let's just talk about this Hollywood sprinkling, shall we? Well, the minority ownership group is led by award-winning actor, director and producer Michael B. Jordan. We're talking Creed, we're talking Black Panther, we're talking The Wire, CSI, and also Nulla Saka. They are the founder of the Cosmos Group, who bought FC Andorra in 2018. Since then, they've risen from 5th in the Spanish national division to 2nd division in 4 years. Michael B. Jordan, that is, don't get confused, because everyone's been thinking, is this the Michael Jordan? No, but it's another one, and he's got plenty of followers on Twitter, about 1.2. Could this lead to a docu-series? Don't really want to turn into Welcome to Wrexham, but Bill Foley, he's led the construction of multiple sports venues in the Las Vegas Valley, and look at what we've got behind us. It's small, isn't it? It's not great. And look, one thing has to lead to another. If the land at Kings Park is eventually going to be used for a new stadium, one needs to happen. They're currently training over there at the moment. And of course, the new facility at Camford Magna means they could shift the training facility over there, and then some space is created, because we were all talking about the athletics track and how good a place that would be, and our heart and our roots are in Dean Court, and that would enable that still. So it sort of remains to be seen exactly what will happen, but certainly the training facility and bringing all of the different levels of youth and the women and then eventually the first team over to Camford Magna would be absolutely huge for us. We've got a different kind of ownership here now at Dean Court. It's going to be very visual, it's going to be more transparent, but also what it probably does is there's more personal responsibility from Bill Foley. And in his statement, he actually talks about Max. You can see that on the AFCB.co.uk website, and has just underlined how huge he was. And Max himself has also sent a letter to AFC Bournemouth fans as well. I'll just read a little bit from what Bill Foley said as well. He said, "It's with a deep sense of gratitude and excitement that I share with you the news that my partners and I have completed the acquisition of AFC Bournemouth. I've been looking forward to this chance to connect with you since we began exploring this opportunity, and even more since my family and I visited the Vitality Stadium to experience an AFCB match for the first time last month." It goes on to say that although the paperwork shows a transfer of ownership to our group, I know that any successful sports organisation is held in trust for its community. We've accomplished that in Las Vegas, where the National Hockey League's Golden Knights in just 6 years has developed a rich and unbreakable connection with its fans. If you want to see the full statement, go on to afcb.co.uk. But I noticed a departure from "together anything is possible" to "always advance, never retreat." I'm liking that. Always advance, never retreat. Are we going to see slogans changing all around the stadium here? You never know. Might happen. In terms of Max's statement to Bournemouth fans, he's put, "When I first visited a Bournemouth home game in League Two, I never dreamt that I would end up owning the football club. What started as a passion turned into a bit of an obsession." Too right. And I quickly realised that with a bit of commitment we would achieve something special with this club, and we did. He goes on to say, I've got so many fantastic memories of my time with AFC Bournemouth that I'll cherish forever. And it goes without saying, our first promotion to the Premier League under Eddie Howe will always stand out. He says no organisation is bigger than the sum of its parts, and so much of this club's success has been driven by the collaboration both on and off the pitch. I'm sure this will continue. And he also underlines that he was fully aware of Bill Foley's intention, so he's confident that the future of the club is in safe hands, which is something that of course we all want to see. A lot of supporters have been reacting on Twitter. It's almost a dusty room territory, that's what I'm saying. So have a look at the screen now to see what Phil McGuinness said. Thank you seems inadequate for what Max has done for AFC Bournemouth over the last 11 years. John Hudson says, thank you Maxim for everything you've done for this special football club. Chris, you know it makes sense to get Max on the pitch as fans champion before the end of the season. Would love to see it happen. I don't think it will. Nobby Dog, you made my boyhood dreams come true and now have paved the way for even greater dreams. Once thought unachievable, thank you. Aging Cherry says, seem to have got some dust in my eye reading that. Thanks Max. Now get down to Dean Court so we can give you an appropriate send-off. RC Morgs, forever a cherry. Thank you Max. Nick said, never ever imagined we would have achieved what we have in a million years. Without you Max, none of it would have happened. You've been the best owner that we could have wished for. Massive AFCB legend. Ed Coombs says the GOAT. Andy Smith, tongue-in-cheek, says, when we unveiled Frank Demouge and paid nearly $1 million for Matt Tubbs, I did not think in 10 years' time I'd be surrounded by dust when Maxim said his goodbyes, but here we are. Neil, thank you Max, you've forever written yourself into the history of our club, and look, the comments go on and on and on. What a guy. We do seem to be in safe hands. It's going to be a really interesting time being a supporter of AFC Bournemouth, I've got to say, and you know, as Mark McAdams said, his first aims and intentions maybe will just to be building the community and earning a bit of trust as well, because we were sceptical when Max came on board, but with Max's support, Bill Foley has now taken over the club, and the transparency I think will lead to a lot of optimism, which has been expedited by the fact that he's putting his face out there. He's buying a house down here. He's fully invested into this. He's not this latent businessman that's going to be sat in another country. He's going to be hands-on. And I gather it's also his birthday. So Bill Foley, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. What a purchase. It's got special memories. It's got a special feel for so many people. Adversity runs through the fabric of the club, and with you at the helm, maybe we can push on to the next level. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens. Here on Back of the Net, as you can tell, we're back. We've had our break from the World Cup. I'm going to be joined by Tom Tiggs and all the team over the next few weeks as we enjoy the Back of the Net Christmas do. We'll have a vlog from the Chris Billum-Smith fight and so much more, and massive news for the channel in January as well. Absolutely huge. If you want to be part of our journey, and what you need to do is press that little subscribe button and hit the like. But from a freezing Dean Court where my hands are literally shaking to death, we'll see you soon at the Ches. New era. Always advance, never retreat, or whatever it was.